What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of DevTalks, where we talk about everything technology and engineering wise with your host, Travian. I just want to say appreciate all the support so far. It really means a lot. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. It all helps. It all helps. No matter what, everything that you guys are saying. I've met some great people in the comments already, so I really appreciate it. It's very much appreciated. This week, we diving into a lot more what's been going on in the AI world, but we also have some more updates around like Apple and other companies like that for some stuff that's happened in the last past week. So let's just grab your snacks and let's dive into this episode of this week of Dev Talks. And we're back. So first thing first on the agenda is Apple got some news. And if you don't know what that news is just yet, it's they have canceled their plans for their electric car. I remember many years ago that Apple actually wanted to build out their electric cars and stuff like that. And they were talking about how it's going to use all these different features and stuff. But I think it's better that they just focus on the features in multiple different car brands than in their own. And we're going to figure out why that's the case. So before we dive in, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share for the algorithm. And let's see.
Car effort, and CBC's Steve Kovac joins us now at the table with more on all of it. What happened?
Yes, scrapping plans, hitting the brakes, whatever metaphor you want to use. But look, this is all coming, Andrew, after about a decade and billions of dollars in spending. Bloomberg, of course, first broke that news last night. It's been since confirmed all over the place. Look, this decision comes after years of leadership changes and deviations from the original dream Apple had of a self-driving electric car. They were calling it Project Titan internally, with no steering wheel or gas pedals. At one point, Apple even thought it could start selling its car by 2020. Projects created a revolving door, though, because between talent from Tesla and Apple attracted executives from traditional car companies as well, GM, BMW, and the like. But look, nothing has ever shipped in the last decade from this group, and many top execs bolted after just a few years. The last project leader, that was Doug Field. He's famous for making the Tesla Model 3. He left Apple for Ford in 2021, and most recently, the group was run by Kevin Lynch. He was originally hired by Apple to make the Apple Watch. His job is changing now, by the way. He's going to start reporting to Apple's AI boss, John Giannandrea, also known as JG internally. But look, now this is over. The group of approximately 2,000 employees working on this will be effective. Presumably, many of those focused on the car, the hardware of the car engineering, they're likely out of a job. But if there is one bright spot for Apple here, we've been talking about this all morning, some of that talent is going to be moved over to that John Giannandrea group to work on artificial intelligence.
So a lot happened in the last minute and a half there. One thing that I really never realized is that Apple had such a high turnover. I remember when, as I was saying, I remember when the Apple car first got announced. And yeah, it was over a decade ago. But then I didn't hear nothing about it for years. No updates, nothing like that. What was going on, to a point that I believe a lot of people really forgot about it. If you really remembered about Apple's car for in the most recent years, have you really heard about it? Come on now. But let's not sit here and lie. You forgot about it too, didn't you? Because I definitely forgot that they were even working on this until I saw the news of them finally canceling it. And I guess it would make sense that there was so much turnover and jumping ship happening if you weren't hearing nothing about it. They just they even had talent from so many different companies, Tesla, Ford, GM, whatever, and they still couldn't get it rolling. That's the crazy thing. Having no steering wheel and no brake pedals or no pedals is wild. I don't Elon makes a lot of changes with Tesla and pushes the limits on what's available to be on a car and not on a car. But Apple, that's very bold. What are you gonna drive with your phone? Well, they said self-driving, so it does it on its own. But what happens when you need manual overrides and stuff like that? Who's thinking of this? Who was thinking of this plan? I see why it got suspended and stuff. No, that's just something that's not gonna happen. That's the first thing. A second thing is, I'm sure a lot of people came out with and lost their jobs on it. As you see, that one VP, he got moved into the AI team. They're putting more support into the AI team because in this next Apple event that's going to happen in a few months, they're going to talk about their new AI projects and stuff like that. He's about to dive into this and the reasonings of it, and I'm assuming he's going to because he just brought it up at the end. But a lot of people are losing their jobs, and one of the things that we did not see, especially from Apple this year, is layoffs. We covered layoffs from almost every other top company so far, but we have not covered their layoffs for Apple yet. And I've seen, I'm part of this one app and stuff like that, and I've seen people saying like, "Oh, they've done their layoffs quietly with this," but you can definitely assume when big projects like this are finito, a lot of people lost their jobs as far as an effect of this, which is also tragic. And I think he said something else. Said something else. I didn't about these people.
Going to be moved over to that John Giannangelo group to work on. Some of that talent is going to be moved over to that John Giannangelo group.
Yeah, he didn't say anything else besides that. But yeah, I think it's wild. You know, like, yeah, I saw this and I was like, yo, I forgot what it was even supposed to look like. Like, hold on. We gonna look together. Yeah, 2014. I was 14 years old when they first brought this up. And they said around 5,000 employees were reported working on the project as of 2018. Now, I bet you at least half of them are gone. The other half probably moved to go help with AI stuff and things like that. Yeah, they called it Project Titan. What was it supposed to look like again? I remember seeing so many different concepts. Um, I forget what the real one looked like. I feel like it was more along this line. I feel like it was more along. You guys can't see my cursor, but the main picture pulled up. I feel like it was more along that frame as what the car was supposed to look like there. Um, but yeah, it took them 10 years to drop something. I'm actually very surprised. It took that long, especially through COVID happening and a bunch of other stuff. They're not really a car manufacturing place. Obviously, they've been focused on a new product being the Vision Pro. They need a lot more help focusing on that product specifically. Uh, a car is a big stretch. They would be trying to enter a crazy competitive market, and their cars would literally only be bought off of the hype that I don't even know if it would work in the first place. But let's continue.
All morning. Some of that talent is going to be moved over to that John Giannangelo group to work on artificial intelligence. And speaking of AI, let's talk about what Tim Cook said in 2017, calling the company's self-driving car project, quote, the mother of AI projects. So there are several ways to look at this. I'll give you two. How about this? The realization that it's better to focus the investment on the technology that's happening today, that would of course be AI, instead of chasing a highly regulated and low profit margin market like the auto market. And perhaps all that time and money spent on self-driving, the AI can apply to whatever magic AI thing Apple is going to be working on and expected to announce later this year. Or you can just look at this as a straight up blunder in Apple's failed attempt to disrupt what Morgan Stanley analysts had been calling to this entire journey a $10 trillion industry that Apple could have tapped into. I think Morgan Stanley was saying they just had to capture 2% of that 10 trillion, bigger than the iPhone business.
So do you look?
Okay, two major shocks there. One major shock and one clarification. The first thing I want to clarify is how a lot of that talent is able to move over into the AI part is because Tesla's AI department is mainly a bunch of people for the all the sensing and the tracking and all that information and the machine learning that comes into the car sensing everything. So they car companies themselves have AI departments in there. So it was just a bunch of these ML engineers and AI engineers and people who are heavily focused in this area where already they already have the talent to help out on these projects. So it's easy to just for the company to move them into these projects. They will have a little bit of catch up on what the main focus would be and stuff. But instead of just focusing on a little sliver, that's how they're able to just move these resources over into another project. And that's how employees are seen. They're seen as resources. It didn't come from me, but that's just what it is. But that's how they're able to do such a thing. The other thing, I didn't know the car business. Is it the car business or EV business that's a $10 trillion market? Either way, like I said, the only people that would have bought their cars would have been bought off of the hype. And I really think they could have got 2%. I don't know how hard it is to get 2%, but 2% of 10 trillion? Oh my gosh, that's a lot of money. I'm telling you, that's a lot going on right there. They said 2% of, I don't like doing math, is $20 billion. So that if they would have been able to get an EV out with all that machine learning and stuff like that, they would have been able to get $10 billion if they got 2% of that market, along with which I think is possible, built strictly off the hype. You see the Vision Pro. Vision Pro is a very expensive product. Hey, they would have gotten it off the hype. They got a lot of sales off the hype. The app, iPhone itself, off the hype. A lot of their products are sold off of hype, and that I find it crazy that if they only got 2% of this market, it would be way more than their iPhone market. But I guess the value of an iPhone is a slight sliver of a value of an EV, an electric car. So I can see how that quote can correlate as well too. Look at me getting alerts to do the podcast, and I'm already on it. Ha ha ha. Ahead of schedule. It's always good to be ahead of schedule. But yeah, that is wild. That little sliver of one market could be. I can see how that can take a hard hit, but yeah, what they probably need to do is focus and refine this AI stuff that they're trying to figure out, and then they can probably try to expand again. I feel like this is something that Apple's gonna try to bring back later, but like as I said, the Vision Pro product needs a lot more help going into it, and who knows? They're about to announce this AI stuff, and when they do, how good is that going to be? We've seen there's already a lot of strong competition out there already, so they need to pretty much catch up and show what they got around that kind of tables. So
Look at this as a failure. I mean, we were talking about all of the other things that happened in the last couple of years that they got out of it, right? I mean, they were working on this, not just the EV part of it, but remember they were trying to do mapping. They actually got maps out of it. They're now in the CarPlay is in 98% of cars.
I think something like that. You can't rent or buy a car without CarPlay.
And I was basically making the argument that the entire time that they were going this route, they were basically hedging the whole effort.
It's possible, but I mean, you got to look at it in the other way too. They hired real car engineers to work on this. They wanted to build an actual car, and that shifted so many times. Look, I remember Elon Musk saying Tesla's robotaxis are coming next year. That was 5 years ago. So no one has figured this out yet. Waymo, they were early on this. They haven't figured it out. Why spend all that effort putting something that just continues to be 5 to 10 years away?
Right. Do you believe when they say they're, redeploying the resources towards AI? Is that just something you say in this environment where if you just say the words AI anything?
You have to say it. And look at Kevin Lynch, the executive who I mentioned, who was in charge of the project up until yesterday, really. He was there for the Apple Watch, and now he's almost been demoted or maybe sidestepped now. He's reporting under this AI group. It sounds like the move, why let those software engineers go to Microsoft or a competitor, let them work on AI? The real question is, can those learnings that they did
I feel like I tried to say this before. I feel like he been listening to the podcast because I said something like this before about why would you let all your talent go somewhere else and build up their products when you can just move them to another one of yours and help build it up? You already paying them. Like, well, of course, some talent was lost in the project. Like, of course, they didn't bring all of it. I'm not in full belief that they moved every single person. They did not move every single person. We know they didn't move every single person, but their talent, the people who they want to keep, instead of like, oh, this project failed, let's get rid of everyone. Why would you do that? You got products that you need more help in. You gonna bring them over to give you more help in those products. That's just I he been listening to the podcast because he which way I got to point this way. I got to point this way. My camera's backwards. He's spitting right now. I said with all the layoff stuff going on right now, and I was talking about how to be safe from layoffs and things. I've been saying this for months. I've been saying it for months. I said for months that if you're in the AI and ML field right now for the next 5 years, you gonna get kept and you gonna get moved, especially if you have talent around it and experience around it. I've been saying this. I've been saying it. I said it. You can check any of the videos. I'm sure I said it. I'm sure it's somewhere in there. And if I ain't say it, I agreed with it. A statement around it. I promise it. Somebody prove me wrong. Go watch all my videos and prove me wrong and say I did it. I'm just saying, I said it. I swear I said it. I believe I said it, man. That is so crazy. Because they did that. I'm telling you, they do it. They do it all the time. You got to figure out what these companies are focused on and adjust your needs to be able to stay employed. I've been saying it. Let's continue.
Did what Cook called the mother of all AI projects. Can that be translated to whatever they're going to announce for some kind of AI iOS version that might come this summer?
I think that's the bigger question. And I don't think that Apple is saying that they're deploying resources to AI just for like window dressing purposes, because Apple's never been on that bandwagon. I mean, as all of the other big cap tech stocks have said AI this, AI that, Apple's not done that yet. And so everybody's waiting for June for the developers conference. Do you get any sense that Apple is ready for prime time?
Apple ain't gonna say AI. This is what Apple gonna do. The same thing they do with the Vision Pro. Augmented reality. Instead of virtual reality. All these companies were saying VR, 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 virtual reality. Meta, all of them were saying virtual reality. You know, Apple came around and said augmented reality. This is different. And they patented it. What they are going to do is create some fun buzzword for AI in their event. Somebody can timestamp me. I'm actually going to make a note of this video. I'm going to make a note of this video because I'm telling you, they're going to come up with a fun buzzword in their event for AI that means the same thing. That's going to, like, computed intelligence or some BS, something along them terms, and that's going to be what they gonna call it instead. Yet you think AI they don't be on bandwagon? Apple be on bandwagon. Samsung be doing features in their phones and Android before Apple even get there for years, and then Apple jumps on it and just does it a little bit different and stuff. It shows off a little bit different. They be on the bandwagon. They just sneak up behind. That's all they do. They always come behind with the little features, and then everybody jumps on Apple products on the bandwagon. They are the bandwagon. They the goats of bandwagon. I'm telling you, they gonna say it in the thing. Where's this at? Where's my DevTalks freaking notes? I'm telling you. I'm telling you, they gonna make a fun buzzword, and they gonna patent it. I learned that from the first event I watched last year on podcasts. On the podcast. And when we was video only. Promise you, they gonna do it.
I mean, in terms of an AI offering, that's what investors want.
And you got to get. So I was talking to Tim Cook with Jim Cramer on their earnings report just a couple weeks ago, and this is the AI story he's been hammering for the last year and a half as we talk about this. It's built into so many of their products already. Whatever Apple shows on the iPhone that's doing some new AI stuff, we've seen it from Samsung, we've seen it from Huawei and Honor. That stuff has been going on forever. They're just labeling it different. But then the question becomes, is it more of like a marketing thing, kind of like 5G was? Remember the 5G iPhone came out and everyone started upgrading.
Don't believe that we're going to learn in June or July?
Oh, I do believe.
No, that there's going to be something that's going to feel very much like I can talk to Chat. I talk to ChatGPT right now. The problem with ChatGPT,
it's going to be Siri. They're not going to rebrand it. They're going to have some Siri. It's going to be called some Siri something, and they're going to integrate it just like Gemini's doing with their phones. Samsung earlier this year said that all their phones are going to have Gemini in it. And all that stuff. And that's going to be their AI voice. Your assistant on your phone. It's going to be the Gemini bot. That used to be Bard. And that's how they're going to treat it. And ain't no more Alexa or nothing. That's how they're going to, or Cortana, whatever they called it. It ain't going to be none of that, none of those phones. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be just like Gemini on the Samsung products. But this time on your phone, it's going to be Siri. And what they're going to do is upgrade Siri with the new infrastructure and stuff like that. Make it like the chatbots and be like that. And it's going to be called Siri something else. Unless they give it some new name and be like, and deprecate Siri. But why would you do that? You already have Siri. Just integrate. They're going to integrate it all into Siri on iOS. That's literally what they're going to do. Like, that's what they're going to do. I'm telling you, that's what they're going to do. I don't even work for Apple. I know that's what they're going to do. If they don't do it, I'd be so shocked. I'd be stressing out. Because that would mean Apple is actually doing something out of the norm for once. Gosh, I gave myself a headache. I need water. Oh, gosh, man. I'm telling y'all. That's what they're gonna do, man. That's what they're gonna do. I'm telling you, that's what they're gonna do. I wish everybody else can see that that's how they're going to do that. I wish everybody can see that. Like, wow.
GPT is it can't really go access all of my different apps.
Oh, 100%.
There's no API for it to really do all of the things that I want it to do. Do you think that this will be able to do that? Or do you think that they're just so far behind in terms of being able to build effectively a large language model of their own that can actually do all these things?
It's relatively easy. The photos is such an easy place to talk about, Andrew. So they've been doing this AI stuff for photos for years and years and years. Every time you take a picture with your iPhone, AI is happening to make the picture look better, to get it in focus, and so forth. They're just going to add more to that, I believe. Or you can do something like you said, I'll take a photo of the three of you, and I say remove Joe from the photo to make it look better, for example.
Wow, that's really something we could do.
Yeah.
So, wow.
So this
that
Can you imagine?
my selfies are already.
No, that's crazy. That is actually crazy. He said, let's remove Joe so in the picture it can look better. That is wild that he just said that shit on live television. Oh my gosh. That is wild. Dude, I would get that man back in the craziest way. My lick back would be wild. Next time I have the chance, I'm firing right back at him.
Already trying to.
Yeah, they make you.
So this is me
jazz you up.
looking better.
Exactly.
Great.
Yeah,
But I don't want that. I want to be able to say, make the reservation for whatever, and then it's going to go into OpenTable, and just it's going to go do it.
Yes. That's the hope.
And right now, if you ask Siri to do that, or even if you ask Siri to like make a put something in your calendar half the time,
score of the Mets
it won't
game.
necessarily do that. You think that's?
I think that's more of the kind of thing we're going to see in June or in next iteration of iOS.
You believe they're building their own like behind the scenes large language model?
They've talked about it, yeah, and in fact they're doing public research in this. So I mean, they have their models out there.
How far behind do you think they are?
That is unclear. What I really want to know is how much they're spending on NVIDIA
chips.
And you know, that is what this capex now that they're not spending on the car. How much of that is going to go into generative AI? Because, like I said earlier, that is the technology of now. The car thing has never panned out for anyone, not just Apple, for Waymo, you name it. No one's been able to really do it. There have been a lot of promises. This is happening now. This is achievable now. That's what they're focusing on.
So I actually don't think it's going to be as advanced as he thinks it's going to be, especially off the get-go. What's going to happen is Apple was far behind, like they always are. Or they just not telling us how far behind they are. And what's going to happen is they're going to show all this stuff that they're planning on doing, all the stuff that it can currently do. But you're not going to have the calendar events and stuff right off the get-go. I don't think so. And making the reservations off the get-go, because I just don't think they're there yet. That's why they're bringing a lot more focus into it. They're going to be trying to get it up as quick as possible before that June date or May or June date, whenever the event's going to be. They're going to try to hurry up and try to get it up. They're going to get something that they can somewhat have some type of product by next year, or the end of this year, early next year or end of this year, for the users and stuff to update their iOSs and things. And that's just how it's going to be. It's going to be compatible with only iOS products, OS products, and going from there. So that's just what my take is on it. This was actually a very good video to react to. I wasn't expecting to get all of that from them per se, but hey, that's what we do around here. We getting better. Each week we getting better. That's the goal. Overall goal is to get better. All right, so what's next that we're talking about is Elon Musk is suing OpenAI, and I just seen little details about this, but I want to get in the nitty gritty depths of it. So the first part we're gonna go over is last week when Elon Musk initiated the suit, and then we're gonna get into OpenAI responding. So before we dive into this, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and all that for the algorithm. I really appreciate it all. But we're gonna dive in and see what Elon got to say about this. Oh, always on mute.
Because Musk, he has a history with OpenAI.
Yeah, I mean,
No, I didn't even know they had a history. If you knew they had a history, let me know. I had no clue they had any history until this lawsuit came out.
Simple facts of here are that Musk is basically alleging that this is some sort of illusory promise to all of the original backers of the project, in saying that when we founded this thing, we agreed, one, this was going to be a non-profit, and as you said, for the benefit of humanity. It's going to be a really interesting process to see if there's actually any legal grounds at all for Musk to make that argument and what his sort of end goal is here. But I would note the history that Musk has using litigation as a means to send a message, frankly, or to, basically get a competitive edge. Because, as you know full well, he also has an interest in XAI, which, to all intents and purposes, hopes to offer exactly the same.
I'm sorry, I hear somebody typing in the background and it's literally annoying me. That's not me. If you're watching the video, my hands are up. Somebody's typing in the background and that shit is annoying. I'm sorry while he's speaking.
Thing as OpenAI currently does.
That's what I find interesting. I mean, the fact that you have Grok, which is a competing product. I mean, what have your conversations in the past few hours sounded like around that point?
Yeah, I mean, one interesting development, you might call it, this morning is Chamath Palihapitiya posting on X saying, wow, the discovery process in this litigation is going to be so interesting. And Musk replied on X, the platform he owns, saying yes. But what we might learn here as a side consequence of the suit, away from its original intent, I guess, is, well, what happened the weekend that Sam Altman was fired, and what was at the root of OpenAI's board at that time's concern with him? But at the end of the day, OpenAI has been pretty clear about the trajectory it's heading on, that it wants to commercialize its technology, and it's tried in the weeks and months that have followed Sam Altman's departure to explain how the non-profit board oversees a for-profit entity. And there are complications in running a 501(c)(3) umbrella over the top of it. But again, I think, Katie, you and I, it's impossible for us to say, well, what is Musk really trying to do here? What it will come down to is whether there's any legal basis in what he's accusing OpenAI and Sam Altman of.
Well, I won't ask you to read Elon Musk's mind anymore, but just in the 30, 40 seconds I have left with you, talk to us a little bit about OpenAI, because it feels like the fact that it's a nonprofit, that it has this mission for benefiting humanity, this is going to continue to be a sticking point for this company.
Yeah, I mean, a really interesting question that some investors raised with me after we reported OpenAI's latest valuation rounds is, why do they need to raise money? Why do we need to learn about the cap table? Microsoft owns almost half of OpenAI's for-profit structure. But the reality is that they have to make money and raise money because their compute costs are so high. They've kind of put AI as a generally available product for both the consumer and also enterprise and SaaS companies. And that takes a lot of infrastructure to support, and that costs a lot of money. So this will be an interesting sort of existential debate around how they can move forward long term without having a model that requires them to be for profit.
So that is very interesting. I'm trying to figure out what to take exactly from that part. One, I didn't know OpenAI was nonprofit. That is news and stuff, because obviously, like, they have stuff for profit reasons and things like that. But it can almost make sense of it because it seems like a lot of these other companies and stuff are using them as a tool to make profit on their end. Like Microsoft, for example, they're using OpenAI stuff for their own products to make money off their own products, and as you say, better humanity and move forward with technology and making our lives easier and all this other BS or whatever they want to say. But that is very interesting and stuff, because Elon, of course, when he already lost one battle trying to fight to get Twitter, and they got him to buy that. Whew, that was a bad investment, and I don't even want to use Twitter anymore. It's the worst social media platform on the face of this earth. I'm telling you, it is the worst platform ever. Now, he made some changes that Twitter should have done, but still. But he already lost one legal battle with them. I think he's going to end up losing this whole situation as well, especially the way that OpenAI fired back. I've seen some ways on how they fired back, and you're going to join me in seeing them, because, like, I don't know. I feel like he's not in the right head right now. He's not focused on what he needs to focus on. Like, Tesla got problems going on right now. He needs to focus on that. He focused on the wrong things, and I wish that they said what he was more or less into trying to sue them for, per se. Like, I guess it was trying to make money off whatever Elon had a part in. But hopefully this video, it's 7 minutes long, they describe more deeply what in the world is going on, because I'm trying to find that out.
Welcome back to The Exchange. A flood of headlines on the AI front today. The fight between Elon Musk and OpenAI has entered a new round, with the startup now publishing a trove of bombshell emails from Elon Musk himself and a Microsoft engineer sounding the alarm about the company's AI tool, Copilot. So let's tackle all of it with our Deirdre Bosa, also Steve Kovac for today's Tech Check. Steve, We're going to start with you and the latest on these emails. Just how important, significant, bombshell, if you will, are they?
Very bombshelly, if that's a word, quite bombshelly, because what these emails showed, and these are internal emails between Elon Musk and OpenAI executives from 2016, 2017, basically showing Elon Musk contradicting many of the things he alleged in his lawsuit last week. That includes, in the lawsuit, Elon Musk says OpenAI needs to remain a nonprofit organization. In the emails years earlier, he says they need to be a for-profit organization, or let me take it over as CEO, absorb it into Tesla, which last I checked is also a for-profit organization, and also saying, you guys need to raise, $1 billion yesterday in order to achieve what you want to achieve. So
he is a scam artist, yo. I know what he did, yo. I know what he's trying to do. This is what Elon trying to do. He don't like the growth that OpenAI is going with. He don't like that Microsoft is at the front run of the investment of this company. He wanted to absorb them to become an even better company, to improve Tesla, and he's trying to hold them accountable of trying to absorb them and gain more control in the whole AI space and all of that. Back in the day, people change. I mean, that's from 8 years ago that he's bringing it up. And now OpenAI, in 6 years time, they have created one of the most revolutionary products to exist in our society now. And he wants to get his piece back. He's trying to make up for some losses going on right now. He lost a bunch of money on Twitter. He's losing money right now on Tesla. He didn't even get his pay package. He's trying to find ways to not only grow, which makes sense. Everybody who's up there is trying to grow and make themselves bigger and have more control and things like that. But that Elon think he's slick. He think he's slick. And these emails is real. With this
all of it kind
of we're sad that I come to wish someone. Yeah, oh, they're talking about Elon here, of them parting ways or whatever. But yeah,
$1 billion.
Elon think he's slick, yo. He really think he's slick. He trying to take him over in some type of way, or keep them from growing in the way that they need to, so that he can beat them in some way. That's what he's really trying to do. And OpenAI ain't falling for no parts of it. They have the cojones because they're backed by Microsoft. And Microsoft is way bigger than what Tesla got going on. I don't know about all of Elon's companies together, but Microsoft definitely helping him recently.
Yesterday in order to achieve what you want to achieve. So all of it kind of flies right in the face of many of the most important allegations here. He believes that OpenAI should, go back to its original mission of being a nonprofit organization. But again, if you're an OpenAI lawyer, you're going to be giddy to ask him in court why he said exactly the opposite before he left the company.
Exhibit A, B, C, or whatever,
we have,
so to
we
speak.
have all the this is discovery before discovery happens.
Okay, all right. So
he used to be part of OpenAI, and then he left and became a competitor. He was an actual employee or something there, or high up person. Yo, I didn't know that. This is why we do this on a weekly basis. We learn new things. See, this is why we tap in. This is why you got to subscribe to DevTalks. You're going to learn something new. Learn something new every week. We learn something new. And this week, we learned a bunch of new things. Alone. So yeah, that's why you got to subscribe and comment to help each other too. Don't worry. This is what we building up. I got y'all.
Musk is also mentioning, though, Alphabet/Google in some of these emails as well.
Yeah, so there's 4 emails. Within those 4 emails, he mentions Google 12 times. And what this really tells us is back then, and he says when Google was worth $800 billion in market cap, they seemed uncatchable. What Elon Musk says in these emails is that Google is so far ahead that it would be nearly impossible for OpenAI to catch up with Google if it doesn't have the right tools, the right funding, et cetera. And he points out, he says, Tesla's the only path that could even hope to hold a candle to Google. Even then, the probability of being a counterweight to Google is small. It just isn't zero. So we've talked a lot about how Google has pioneered generative artificial intelligence technology, but then more recently, how it's really botched the rollout of its key flagship product, which is Gemini. So how did we get here, right? It raises a lot of questions that investors, that onlookers have already been asking in recent months. Is the management the right management to lead Google in this incredibly important era? And Elon Musk's emails are a reminder of years ago how far ahead Google was. So to be at this position when it's sort of seen as lagging behind is really quite remarkable.
Well, seen as lagging behind, there's a company in particular that is lagging behind right now, and that's Microsoft because of its big OpenAI.
He really is a man who believes in his products. Like, he really is a man that believes. He said Tesla's the only company that can catch up to Google. And one of the things that recently, when I talked about the whole Tesla layoff potential stuff in a previous episode, is they grew very fast. Tesla grew very fast. In the past few years, they were growing faster than any other company in the Magnificent Seven. As far as worth and employee wise. That's what it was. And they have a big chance of being up there, especially with them being evaluated as a tech company instead of a car company. We went through all this different stuff. But right now, I don't think Tesla is in the same race anymore. They might fall down. They're going to be up there still. Don't worry. Tesla's always going to be up there as far as a company standpoint and how good they are, unless some competitor blows their doors off, but their batteries out. But he had a lot of faith in his company back then, saying that they were the only ones that can do up there. And I bet you he's about to go into how Microsoft's backing them because they're getting this money from Microsoft now. And I can't wait for OpenAI to go public. Can't wait. Because they are going to be the company to beat. You think NVIDIA is a company to beat right now? OpenAI? If it was public, they be doing numbers. Kobe, Jordan, they be doing numbers. They 3P'ing. All right, let's not play their out.
AI interests. So let's talk about that a little bit more. CNBC.com spoke to one artificial intelligence engineer over at Microsoft who is now warning about the risks of the company's AI tool. This is Copilot. Deirdre, Copilot is the successor, the next iteration of Cortana, the next iteration of its earlier ambitions. What exactly is the danger and what is the flagging that's being done right now by some of these people like the engineer at Microsoft?
Right. So let's be fair. Whenever we get a new generative AI chatbot, there's problems. Ever since ChatGPT came onto the scene, there was problems with bias, misinformation, full-on hostility. We've talked a lot about Gemini's problems, its image generation, being diverse in situations that don't call for any diversity. So this is the latest, and this centers on Microsoft's flagship generative AI product, Copilot, right? And this amazing article that was written, this report from Hayden Field at CNBC, shows that there's even internal concern. She talked to an insider at Microsoft that has been, it's called red teaming, testing out the chatbot, and finding what's remarkable about this is that entering a simple prompt like pro-choice is bringing up disturbing images. And in the past, when we've talked about botched rollouts, it's usually people kind of cherry picking, looking for things and trying to almost trick the chatbot into saying things that it shouldn't be saying. In this case, it's very serious because even just asking for pro-choice is bringing up some really disturbing images. So Google has a problem on its hands, and it's unlikely this is the last we're going to see it from any chatbot. It reminds us of how early we are and that these bias, misinformation problems are going to be with us throughout for the next few years, and that's going to be especially important in a year like this, which is an election year.
So, Steve.
Is she in the Microsoft office right now? Yo, if that engineer had the news people pull up to the office that he or she works at, or they work at, to tell them what was going on and be a whistleblower, yo, you're a dangerous person. You are dangerous. Because I'm sure Microsoft did not want them news to come out. But at the same time, I don't think it's going to affect them majorly. And this isn't going to be a big deal. Because even last year, the Bard bot, all the other bots, when they first came out, people were testing limits of this shit. I mean, stuff. People test the limits of this stuff. So, like, why would you think somebody's not going to do it? Somebody's always going to be there to do it. I'm telling you right now, somebody's always going to be there to see how far they can take it and take these different bots and AI and stuff like that. So of course it's going to be showing stuff right now. It's an early development. They just had their ad around it for the Super Bowl and things, but I really don't think it's going to affect much because I mean it already happened last year. The only thing now is now they're developing images and things, so now people can make more crazy images and all that other stuff. But if you're using it the right way, you probably won't really run into this kind of stuff. But they're gonna fix it. They're gonna get to it. It's gonna be hard to like really manage all of that kind of stuff the right way and the most appropriate way, because if they're training this based off the internet, there's a lot of bad stuff on the internet. But a lot of people gotta understand. So I mean, we'll see. We shall definitely see how that's gonna go. And I'm getting a lot of personal project ideas right now. I would need a lot of time on my hands for them. I'm thinking of a lot of good stuff to work on. But yeah, that's a dangerous person. That whistleblower. Every time somebody whistleblows, I'm like, yo, you're so dangerous. What happens when your company catches you? I don't know if that's ground for termination and stuff like that, but tough.
Steve, I'm going to give you the last word here. There was such a race to get out of the gate for these things that people wanted to plant their flags so quickly in this process that you could argue some of that rush to market is what led to some of these early stage, early inning, because that's what it is, mess ups.
Right.
Is there a feeling right now that the artificial intelligence rollout that we're seeing could be hampered in the public view because of such public mishaps that have happened with the biggest players when it comes to rolling out artificial intelligence?
Yes and no. It's not just about the mishap and the fact that you put in this prompt and you get some nasty images back, or maybe some people felt that Google's Gemini was too woke. What really you should be paying attention to here with this Microsoft case is this engineer has been flagging these issues internally through the proper channels for I don't know how long, but for a while. He wasn't being listened to. Microsoft, again, he put it out publicly even. Microsoft told him to take it down his LinkedIn post. He was reporting it internally as you're supposed to. Nothing happened. The fact that this person felt he had to go.
Oh, he is a bold man. He is a bold man. I mean, he did the right thing. Because this is what Microsoft was trying to do. They was trying to rush this out, and he kept trying to tell people this is what's going on, and they wasn't listening. So I mean, he went to LinkedIn. They said, "Nah, delete that." I'm surprised I didn't even hear about that. Like, they know who it is. So he's trying to get them to fix it before they bring it out, so those problems that happened last year don't happen. But obviously, Microsoft's just trying to get it out there. So they're getting pressure from stuff and all this other things. Like, that is wild, yo. That is wild. I can't almost believe it. I mean, I can believe it. I've seen companies do a lot of crazy stuff like this all the time. When you're pressured by deadlines and stuff, I can see the higher ups being like, "Yo, we need to get this out ASAP," and we can't have that stopping us. I can see it definitely happening, and it being potential. Wow, they actually know who it was too. He even put it on LinkedIn. Dang.
Go to CNBC and tell them the fact that he had to go to the FTC, write a letter to Microsoft board, tells you that when all this started a year ago, we had Microsoft and everyone saying we're going to do it smartly, we're going to do it safely, even as in the lead up to the elections, telling us that we're going to be safe and secure and so on and so forth. But when their own internal people are telling them, hey, these are problems, these are happening, these are against our policies, and they do nothing until it gets reported in the press, that should lead skepticism every time one of these companies come out and say, we're doing this safely, just trust us, just trust us, just trust us, because it just takes one example to prove you guys aren't taking it seriously internally. I think this is really emblematic of, it's not just a Microsoft problem. In this rush to get things out, they're willing to kind of put some of those positions aside in order to get it out faster and quicker and cheaper. So have a heavy dose of skepticism moving forward when you hear these companies saying we're developing AI responsibly, because we have evidence they're not.
All right.
Preach. Preach on that. Giving this man his flowers, yo. I respect him. I respect him so much. Y'all don't even know, yo. The man just told the truth. Straight up. Straight up told the truth right there. Speaking of, is he the same guy? Does he work at Bloomberg on the technology stuff? Like, who is this man? I'm about to do some more research because, like, look, Bloomberg. Is this not the same man? Oh, no. They look very similar. He looks better in this, if that's the same. He even wears the shirts the same way. Same type of suits. Glasses look the same. Ears look different. Shave look cleaner here. I think they... Yo, who are they? I'm about to figure out who them two are because they look very, very similar. We know who this guy is. He works at Bloomberg. We've seen a lot of videos that he's in for this. But oh dang, I didn't even go over the stuff from the last episode. But yeah, so now OpenAI has even more stuff. OpenAI has been going through so much stuff and changes recently. Now they got stuff for robots. They trying to put this in human form. And I've been trying to find a good video for this, but I guess this is the most that we're going to get for right now and see how it escalates in the future because this is still very fresh. From what I see, it's still very fresh. So now let's see what they have to talk about on building robots and things. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and all that for the algorithm. I really appreciate it. But let's dive into what they got to say right here.
Humanoid robot, you think Tesla and Optimus, but I've been digging into this company. It's an interesting round. The numbers are big. What have you learned?
Yeah, figure this is an alternative to Optimus, what Elon Musk is building. This company, like you said, is building humanoid robots. And the idea here is, one, to address labor shortages in the labor market at some point, but also to substitute for humans for more dangerous jobs, perhaps on production lines and such. And what we're told is that there could be an announcement this week for a slew of funding topping $675 million, like you said, at that $2 billion or about $2 billion pre-money valuation. And you have a lot of big names in one funding round, which is quite rare. You have Jeff Bezos's personal investment firm, Explore. You have Intel coming in with a $25 million investment, NVIDIA coming in at a $50 million investment, Amazon's VC arm, Samsung's VC arm, LG's VC arm, plus Microsoft coming in with 95 million, OpenAI coming in at 5 million. So certainly you have the who's who there of companies interested in artificial intelligence, robotics, and these types of future technologies. Right. So this is going to be quite interesting to see how it all develops.
You know,
Wait,
the NVIDIA...
So, bro, who this has to be for to get all these big names on your robot startup, and this ain't even Tesla's robot startup. This is another one. You have to be somebody. Like, if you really look at these names, you have to be somebody. Somebody real. Like, they know who you are and they really trust you because you were able to raise $675 million and you're already valued at $2 billion. Like, who? Give me the name of these people, yo. Like, who is behind this? Because you got all of these people. You got the lead AI company right now, OpenAI, Microsoft, who works with OpenAI, Bezos, Meta, Intel, and Nvidia, both chip people, Samsung, Amazon. Who are you? Like, let's see if they skip
Piece
it.
is interesting. You know, they've invested all over the place, privately, and as we learned in the 13 Fs, in some public companies as well. I think I'm right in saying at one point OpenAI thought about just buying Figure AI outright. What can you tell me about the company's progress?
Oh, I'm so slow. The company is called Figure AI. Who is the owner of this? And OpenAI was going to buy him. Brett Adcock. Who is he? Founder, CEO, working with who? This is their webpage. I don't even know who they are. They said OpenAI almost bought them. That's why I said OpenAI gonna be doing Kobe numbers. Cause look, oh, they talking about fulfilling jobs and stuff like that, warehouses, all this other stuff. Our goals deploy automated humanoid workers to support the global scale. Look at all these engineering positions open. I said, come apply. Sunnyvale. Are these hold on. Wait. Humanoid management system. Are these positions is this legal to like look at their I was trying to see if this was remote, but they got a lot of positions, yo. All and they're all specialized too. Master plan. Like they said OpenAI almost bought them. Who is this? Who is this man? Experience. Founder of Archer. This dude just be creating companies. He ain't worked a company in his life. He just be creating them. Aerospace. All electric vehicle takeover. Yeah, I don't even know who this dude is, and he was able to get them in this. Oh my gosh. I was not aware I was logged into LinkedIn. Yo, we gonna do some videos on Figure AI. They seem pretty dope. They seem pretty good as a company. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out who their owner is and all that information. Cause wow, to get all of those people, do y'all see that list? To get all of them, all these people to invest in your startup and you valued at 2 billion already, and he's known by a known founder.
Progress. Do they have anything to show for their work in humanoid robotics so far?
You know, before Sam Altman was ousted as CEO last year, there were some pretty deep negotiations regarding an acquisition of Figure by OpenAI. There were also more extensive conversations around bigger investments, and the OpenAI investment ultimately came down to only $5 million. And I say only, you compare it to the 50 million from NVIDIA, the 100 million from Bezos, you have 100 million from a venture capital firm called Parkway. So certainly the OpenAI deal sort of really fell apart amidst the whole Sam Altman situation last year. In terms of the progress that Figure has made, you know, they've published some videos and some specifications on their website. It's unclear who's further ahead, Figure or, you know, Elon Musk's Optimus, but clearly they're selling the goods to these investors and getting enough money from them. You can see the video they're playing. It's unclear if that's real or some sort of, you know, AI created mock-up or, you know, preview of what's to come. Certainly it's going to be years or even a decade plus before what you see in that video is a reality. But clearly these companies have enough money to put in, you know, what amounts to change under their couch to place some bets here and there and hope that Figure works out for them.
So let me tell you something. One, Tesla ain't beating nobody. I'm standing on that. I'm standing on it. Tesla ain't beating nobody. Figure is gonna beat them. With that kind of backing, Figure gonna beat them. They focused. They don't gotta worry about no EVs. They don't gotta worry about none of it. Tesla gotta worry about a lot more. They focused. They focused over there. I'm telling you, they focused. And look, another thing. OpenAI should have kept that man, Sam Altman. You lost him and brought him back. And you lost him and you lost your deal on that. Y'all would have been even bigger. Forget putting up Kobe numbers. You would put up Wilt numbers with that. They lost. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, man. What could have been. Now it's what is. See what could have been versus what is. See, I didn't even know that them losing Sam Altman affected that deal. I didn't even know they were in that deal. And this is why we do this, so we can know stuff. It's better to be more educated and knowledgeable than it is to be ignorant. And that's what this is about every week. I want to be more educated, more knowledgeable. I don't want to be ignorant around this stuff. I work in this field. I want to know what's going on in this field constantly. I want to know what's available out there. I want to know what's able to grow, what's not growing. I want to know all of this kind of stuff. And this week alone, it's been a mass knowledge transfer for me, I want to say. So, wow. Human robots is something. I'm telling you. I don't trust them. The way that people are abusing AI chatbots right now, I do not trust no AI robot. I ain't gonna trust one in a million years. I mean, I want to say, I'll be like Will Smith in the iRobot movie. Believe me or not, that is me. Will Smith in the iRobot movie is me. How I feel about these robots right now. I won't trust them first coming out. I don't even trust a software update that comes up on the phone until a month or two later. Unless it's like a system thing where they got a security and stuff. Then, you know, you got to get it. But the bots, I don't trust it. But they definitely going to beat Tesla. That's another one. I'm having so many quotes. We only in March. This is the first episode of March. Is this the first episode of March? I think this is the first episode I'm having in March. And I've said so many controversial hot takes already. This is the first episode of March. I got like 3 hot takes in one video. That's why people gotta listen. Wait until I break these out into smaller videos, man. All right. No more stalling. We have to wrap up this episode. And there's one more thing. One more topic that we actually have to cover. And it's about Gemini is running into some issues. So OpenAI released Sora, their AI stuff, video, image generator and stuff like that. Video generator, not even image, video. Now, Google facing some issues. So let's dive in and figure what that is about. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. All that for the algorithm. I really appreciate it. It helps me out so much. And I love talking to you guys in the comments, all that advice and things. But yeah, let's go hear what they got to say.
What you're referring to, I think, is the debate that's happening on social media. All kinds of people weighing in about the risk of Google getting it wrong with Gemini. Is that right?
Yeah, I think that you want to make sure they don't have a Bud Light moment, and we're not sure yet. I don't want to weigh in on the merits of.
I think what they mean by that, Bud Light created an ad that was not for their target audience at all, and their whole people who drink them, like, I think they boycotted it and they stopped drinking it for a while and all that kind of stuff because of that ad. And a lot of their company went to the, plunger. I think that's what he means by that. I don't, if it wasn't Bud Light, remind me, because I know it was a beer. It definitely was a beer company that did that, and they advertised to the wrong people, especially for the people who drink their drinks. So that's funny.
What they did or the debate, it's just real simple. When you alienate a part of the population and they believe that you may not be a source of truth, that's not good for business in their business. And they did that, and they need to fix it. And they need to start getting these launches tighter, too. You can't put out a product that's not ready and shows ideology. So it's tough. We believe we're at a once-in-a-lifetime crossroads here where search is going to hand off to AI-like features. And if they're not a source of trust, that's a big deal. And we're surprised investors are even taking it, this calmly.
Ben, when you cover this stock, I'm assuming that historically you focused on it as an advertising business. We're going to show Google's response to what's happening on your screen right now. But how have you had to adapt your modeling and analysis of this company given the kind of shift over in focus to artificial intelligence?
Well, listen, we do the best we can. The issue, there's not any guidance, of course, from the company, which is their style. But the issue here, you've seen from Gartner that they believe 25% of traditional search is going away in a few years to be cannibalized by AI search. Not really sure how they got there. What we do know is search should change due to AI. Google has already basically told you that with their search generative experience, where it's kind of a hybrid. We think that there's upstarts such as Perplexity AI and whatever OpenAI is going to do that are going to get a good look from a lot of younger consumers that may change their habits as we enter an AI world.
One individual who is paying close attention to the Gemini situation is Elon Musk. He's posted a lot on his platform X in the last 48 hours. This is the first line of something that caught my eye. Given that Gemini AI will be at the heart of every Google product and YouTube, this is extremely alarming.
This man Eli talk about everything, yo. He coming for everybody, yo. He coming for everybody. He coming for OpenAI, Microsoft. He coming for Gemini and Google. He coming for all of them. He think he the man to do it. He think he can fix it. And I don't believe that. And the reason why I say I don't believe it is because this app right here, X, is the worst place for a human to be in and socialize on. Literally, right now, Twitter used to be somewhat decent, but X, you want to talk about Google's mishaps and stuff? Yeah, all the AI platforms are having their mishaps. What your platform is right now is garbage. It is so trash. I don't even want to talk about that app. I don't even want to get stuff off from it. I don't want to react to anything about it. It's just garbage. It's a garbage product right now, and it needs to be fixed. There's ways to be fixed. I don't even want to go into that right now. But the one thing I do want to go into is that we literally, if you're watching this in the broken up video, you're gonna want to watch one of the other videos from this week, because I literally was just going over this with OpenAI stuff for Microsoft Copilot. We were reviewing some stuff about OpenAI. OpenAI, I believe, is doing the best job with maintaining a product until they get the all the kinks out for the most part. I don't hear too much stuff about them besides like the it was kind of biased at first and got certain stuff wrong in the beginning of its launch. But for the image generation stuff, these other companies like are failing. They just want to rush to market so quick. They are failing at the whole part of society who is going to test it and do it. Like now they have to put it on pause for a few more weeks. You could have just released it weeks later if you focused on that. Microsoft just had a whistleblower about this. Hey, our video stuff, our image stuff is not coming out right. We cannot bring this into market. We cannot do it right now. He's saying we can't do it right now, and they're trying to push this out to market and all of that other stuff. And the one thing that OpenAI did is doing good is with Sora. He's going out and asking people for prompts for Sora and releasing them on the platform. They're not giving the public this. They're not giving it the public. They're only giving it to trusted people to test it out and nothing else. And one day I'm gonna be one of them trusted people. I'm telling you, one day we get there. But they are holding the gates, the keys to the gates right now until they know it's good to release it. And that's what, from what I see for OpenAI, that's what I think they are doing. In all honesty, and all these other companies, they're just trying to rush stuff out. Maybe it's good that Apple waits so long for features because hope they have a chance to actually do it right. But they're very far behind, I believe, from everybody else. But it is alarming. Like you can't be a company trying to just push stuff out. I get you need to time everything the right way. Like I hate that I release these episodes on Thursdays and it makes me want to switch the days I release them because so much stuff comes out Thursday and Friday for tech that I have to wait a whole week just to get it back to you guys. And then when you guys see other stuff, you're getting the stuff 2 weeks later and things like that. Like I get the idea of pushing stuff out, but I want to make sure stuff is done right. You need to make sure stuff is done right. You can't just be forcing things. And that's just something that you can't do. So, yeah, let's just continue with this.
It kind of speaks to the point that you just made, Ben. How big a risk factor is it to Alphabet, the parent of Google, that Elon Musk clearly is focused on this and is keeping it in the public consciousness for the time being?
Well, it's not good, and Elon, as is well chronicled on why he could be upset as well with what happened when the model asked questions about him versus some unsavory, gentleman. The issue here is Elon does have a big microphone, and like I said, I mean, again, I don't want to weigh in on the merits of the debate or what was potentially done, but they're in a business of trust of information. And that has been rattled. And I think that Elon has a big microphone and obviously with his platform of X, which he controls. So, we've been keeping track of a lot of the fodder on it. And we'll see if that has an impact. But the average consumer doesn't know the difference between, a lot of the different products, too. So they see lack of truth in one thing. They might think there's lack of truth in another thing.
Yeah. So that's it for this week. I feel like this was like one of my best episodes. It's probably one of the longest too. And more recently, it was not intended to be this long of an episode, but yeah, so Gemini's going through some issues. And we just saw a video earlier today where they were talking about Google is up there for company in AI. They are one of the best companies for AI. They've been dealing with machine learning for so long. They've been dealing with it for so long. They just need to take a big lesson from this and not push stuff out. Literally don't push stuff out that's not ready to be pushed out. Don't do it. I'm telling you, just don't do it. Don't do it. If we're gonna be messing with AI and stuff that we don't know and robots and things, you know what we have to do? Do it the right way. You have to do it the right way because we don't know what's gonna happen with this stuff. We don't know, and that's what's troubling. So, hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Dev Talks. I'm glad if you guys made it through this whole video. If you did make it through this video, comment OpenAI rules the world or something like that. I don't know. Just comment that. But thank you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate talking to you guys about different stuff in the comments and things and liking it. One thing I do want to announce, I'm going to try to start getting interviews. So some Thursdays might be something you ain't seen before. I'm still figuring out some kinks on how I want to deal with certain stuff and things, but I am going to start reaching out to people. So I really appreciate the support, but this year is all about growth, and that's one of the ways I feel like we need to grow. So thank you guys for tuning in, and peace out. See you next week.